Then one of the biggest misconceptions about the lack of physical intimacy in relationships is that we assume that just because our partner stopped wanting and craving and desiring physical intimacy, that it must mean something's wrong with us or that they don't love us anymore, something along those lines. If I could change one thing about how people feel about physical intimacy when it comes to long-term relationships, it would be that. I have sat with so many couples over the years where one person is quietly carrying around this fear that nobody wants to say out loud. What if they're just not attracted to me anymore? Sometimes that's not the truth at all. Sometimes it is, okay, but that's a whole different topic. What I see way more often than not is that somebody is just very, very disconnected with themselves. They're exhausted, they are overwhelmed, they spent months taking care of everybody else around them. They're carrying stress and responsibilities and resentment and pressure and insecurities and grief and hormonal changes and body image struggles. They're trying to function. Like none of that is affecting them. And one day they do realize that they haven't wanted physical intimacy in a very long time, which probably has led them to reject their partner, which then has led their partner to stop initiating because they felt rejected. Then immediately they will start to blame themselves. Something must be wrong with me. I should want this more. Why am I not interested? But here's what nobody talks about. And you've been operating in survival mode for long enough, your body does not magically separate itself from your emotional experience. If you don't feel supported, if you don't feel seen, if you don't feel connected to yourself, if you don't feel connected to your partner, it becomes very, very difficult to feel open and available to somebody else. And physical intimacy starts feeling like this place where you're expected to give just one more thing on your plate instead of a place where you actually get to feel connected and seen and open and like present and playful. Then that is usually the moment that people do start panicking on both ends. Not because they don't love their partner, because they just don't understand what's happening below the surface. I'm going to talk about why this becomes so painful in relationships and why both people usually end up hurting in completely different ways. So make sure you follow along so you don't miss it, okay? Because this is the part that most couples don't talk about.